Welcome, everyone. I am here today with Asperide from Damanur, and we have some exciting news. There is a program that's going to allow you to adjust your memory. It's called the Time Seed Program. And I'm actually not going to speak too much more. I just want Asperide to explain to us what happens and how the program is structured and how you can actually sign up to do this. So, Asperide.
Hi, Sophia. Thank you for having me. And it's very exciting to be talking about this with you because we went through the process together recently.
We
So
did.
you know exactly what we're talking about and how powerful and at the same time simple it is.
Exactly.
So
Excuse me.
you want me to say what it is it for, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Please.
So if you're listening to this, it's probably because you are interested in being the best that you can and help humanity go through the transition we're in, or help your family, the new generations that are coming. But for sure, there is in you some desire to be the best person that you can and to have as much energy as you can to do what you are here to do. So, this process is about freeing energy. And we can free energy in many ways. And the most powerful is to go and free the energy that we have accumulated and got stuck in our past because of a way of looking at ourselves that doesn't serve us anymore, or a way of looking at the world that does not allow us to feel empowered, or by different accumulations of data. They are discordant, so we don't really know who we are and what we really feel when we feel something. And a lot of this has to do with memory. So, this process that comes in steps, the first step is really to free energy from our memories by rewriting them with the support of this spiritual magical technology that allows us to reconnect our memories differently so that emotionally they completely change, and then the result, the interpretation that we have today is different.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so what can you describe this magical technology? What is it that allows us the ability to rewrite? Is it your process? Is it something that's supported by that? Can you explain further?
It's a combination, like, because this process requires your will, your desire to change something, your openness and the courage to go back maybe to those episodes of your past that you're not the happiest about or the most proud about. Go to look at them, unpack them, and write them differently, as if they were a completely different story. Like, for instance, you might have had an accident. You cannot change the fact that the accident happened, but you can completely change the interpretation and the effect that energetically that accident has on you. Because you might decide that you write the story of that accident as something that, as it happens often, completely changed the course of your life and allowed you to go deeper inside yourself. And so that brought many gifts. So you could rewrite that story. Again, it's not going to change the accident fact, but it is going to change totally how you relate to it, and the energy that will be released will help you go more in the direction that you choose in your story. Now, psychologists say this is a complex process because going and changing our memories has so many layers we have to touch upon. And this is where this spiritual technology comes into play. So imagine time as a field full of trees and beautiful flowers. And imagine that you could take a seed of one of those time plants, time trees, time flowers, and plant it in your own garden. So that tree that grows will start connecting to other trees, will start creating branches. Think of it as ivy, maybe. That's a good plant to think about because ivy can move. So you can move this new plant in different directions, connecting the branches of the other memories that you have of the time vegetation within you in a different way. So this is literally a seed of something that makes it possible to bring into reality those probabilities of the quantum field that you choose. What this does, it allows your mind, your different perception, your subpersonalities to work together to change the interpretation of the memory and to change the memory itself so
Okay.
that its impact on you is completely different. Of course, this has to do then with emotions, but not only, because often when we change our memories, we also change the way we look at ourselves and at the full perception of who we are. And this is also a process that has to do with thought, our process of thinking, of seeing, of considering ourselves and what the world is like.
Awesome. Okay, so I guess my last question for people that may be wanting to do this would be what's involved? How many days? How many hours? How does the program work? I mean, is it something that obviously we're going to do this in group like I did. I had a chance to do this, and by the way, everyone, it's just absolutely phenomenal. I've been doing quantum field work for a while and memory shifting and perception shifting and this was just, really otherworldly, totally phenomenal. So for me, it was a 2 day process, 2 hours on one day, and I believe 4 hours the next day.
Yes.
The template, is this what they would be expecting to make sure that we sign up for 2 separate days?
Absolutely, one after the other, because the night is very important to anchor together the time seed in your energetic body. This time seed will be with you for 3 months. So you have 3 months to rewrite memories that might be affecting you in a way that takes your energy, does this instead of expanding. And then after those 3 months, this particular time seed would not be alive anymore because it would be completely substituted by the tree or the ivy. Ivy will have grown in all the directions that you want. So yes, it's 2 hours the first day, and then the night, and then 4 hours on the following day. This is the inception. And that is a 3 month process that we follow up on WhatsApp or messages, and also one-on-one time for it if people need some personal guidance. One thing I like to add is that we do share a method to use the time seed and to rewrite the story. But as you were saying, you've been using many other techniques. You can use them all. There's no contradiction. This is an extra magical tool to support any way you want to do it.
Beautiful. Just for clarity for other people, these energies that's blocked could potentially be, somebody thinking, gosh, everything's going right in my life and I just can't seem to get this one thing. I can't seem to get through this one thing. Potentially, this is what you're talking about, an energetic block in the body that once it's removed, they potentially could see their way through it. Is that correct?
It's one of the ways. It's not necessarily an energetic block in the body. It
Okay.
can be
Okay.
in your connection with synchronicity. It could be in the energies you connect to. It could be, an emotional level. Of course, any block we have also manifests in the body. So you're absolutely correct, Sophia. But sometimes people are not always making that immediate connection. So they might feel, oh my gosh, my block is emotional, or my block is in not being able to create enough prosperity, or in always feeling that if I don't take care of everything myself, nothing gets done well, and then people get exhausted. So we all have, I think, one or sometimes more patterns that we could really do without.
No, I
This,
guess using the word body wasn't the correct word. It's just in your life, this thing in your life that you
yeah,
can't get through.
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
So anything else that you feel you need to add that may be information that they would want to hear? Or do you think that, because I feel what you've just described is pretty complete. Obviously, you don't really know the incomplete experience unless you actually are in it and take the program or are involved in the program, which is, again, at some level, I'm going to have to say there are really no words to describe it, but it is magical. So I think that, I feel like it's a whole experience, and I want everyone else to be able to understand that as well, up to the point where, you can't give them every single detail that you're going to do until they actually
Yeah.
experience.
What I would like to add is this is really for people they're willing to, to acknowledge the fact there are things in their past that are holding them back, but they're not interested in going and dissect traumas.
Gotcha.
This is not, I mean, of course, often when we go to memories, we are finding trauma. I'm not saying we are not doing that, but the purpose here is really to free energy.
Okay.
So we do not want to dwell in the trauma. We want to take it if it is there, change it, transform it so that we can remember those events differently and have a completely different impact. It's really for people that say, I know I have more energy than what I'm expressing now. I want it all because I feel called to do something beautiful with my life, to be more joyful, to have a different opinion of myself. Because very often, memories or things that have been said to us when we were children influence how we feel about ourselves. They give us a label that we can't get rid of because so many times when we were kids, we were told, oh, you're like this, you're like that. Are we ready to let that go? Because if we're ready to let that go, then we can free a lot of energy.
And I will say that everything that you just spoke upon, I feel from witnessing it, from going through it, that you beautifully supported people. And when there was times where people wanted to go down that path of really digging into the trauma, you very gently guided them back to, let's just focus on this. And because
Rewrite it. Don't go back there. Rewrite it, change it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think so that's part of what happens during the session is, your support is a perfection. So I have to speak on
Thank you.
Asperide's knowledge, her wisdom, her level of experience here is just really amazing. And I felt totally 100% supported and comfortable during that time in group with a bunch of other people. So,
So
and I
maybe one more thing I'd like to add again is that this technology, the spiritual technology, I did not invent it. This is the result of many decades of study of my spiritual community, Damanor, in how time works, how it is possible to energetically connect to the different lines of probability of the universe, how they impact us directly, how a human psyche and a human soul are composed, so that we can go right at the roots of where it is that, again, this energy is being held. I don't want to take credit for something that I didn't invent. Thank you. I love to facilitate this process because I've seen big change fast. And this then prepares people that want to the second level where you can actually connect to a time seed, again, this little seed of the plant of time that will last forever if you keep thinking of it and using it in your meditations, in your practice, and that will allow you to build your future. So it's
beautiful.
an incredible support for manifestation, but we cannot manifest freely if we're not free from the conditioning of our past.
Makes
So
sense.
that's why the first step is so important.
Like cutting the tethers so that you can move
Yeah,
forward. I love it.
yes.
Well, thank you so much for all this information and for being here. I can't wait to move forward and do this work with a lot of people who are going to sign up for this.
Thank you, darling. Thank you, my dear Sophia, and thank you everyone for listening.